10 years ago, I was a woman full of anxiety, worry, stress, feelings of complete failure in so many areas of my life. My marriage was rough. We'd been married about 11 years and really struggled with connecting. I had a lot of expectations for him. I had a rule book that I had written in my mind and he wasn't living up to them. And I just didn't understand why we couldn't have harmony, why we were always at conflict. I had 4 young kids and was under that stress of trying to raise them and create human beings that could contribute in the world. And everywhere I turned, I just felt like I was falling short. I just couldn't live up to that expectation. And to top it all off, I had a lot of body image issues. I was struggling with keeping my weight down after having kids. I was really self-conscious about wearing a bathing suit. I just didn't feel like I was at home in my own skin. I was not living my purpose. I didn't even know what my purpose was. Didn't even know if there was a purpose for me. And about 10 years ago, I found yoga. I went into a class at the local gym where I lived, and I had been trying so many things to lose weight at that point. I had been running, I had been doing CrossFit, I'd been doing kickbox classes, and did I mention that I was running? So I was injured once again, went to a yoga class thinking for sure this was gonna fix it all. And didn't realize that there was a lot more to yoga than just the poses. And as I was in that yoga class and listening to the instructor guide us into Shavasana, part of my mind thinking, this is a huge waste of time. Why am I not just jumping out of here and going and doing something worthwhile? The other part of me reveling in that calm and that peace and hearing the sounds of kids playing outside through the open windows behind us and the dark coming in through the windows as the sun was setting. And there was a feeling that rose up in me, unlike anything I'd ever felt before. And there was a calm and a peace and an utter tranquility that I have never felt. And that moment was pivotal and huge. What was so hard though was to leave that practice and to go out in the world and see the complete disparity, the complete incongruency with everything around me compared to how I felt when I was in yoga practice. I didn't know how to take it off the mat. I didn't know how to combat all of the images that I saw about what it meant to be a woman and what it meant to be successful and what it meant to live a peaceful life. Was it following this guru? Was it following this eating plan? Should I do this quick fix? And so I'd get pulled back into the world every time that I left my mat, and I couldn't figure out how to keep that peace, keep that harmony with me throughout my entire day and have it affect my whole life. Fast forward a few years, and I decided I wanted to go into a yoga teacher training program. I thought, that's the answer. Maybe if I'm teaching yoga, I'll be in it so much that it will affect my whole life in a better, positive way. In our teacher training, we had a module where we learned all about something foreign to me called Ayurveda. Ayurveda, ancient medical system from India. I had no idea what the teacher was talking about. She was throwing out all this Sanskrit. I was pretty much lost, but I found this feeling of yearning for what she was saying. I wanted to know more. I wanted to experience the peace and the wellness and the holistic life that Ayurveda offered. So I began to read everything there was. I read every book that had been written, and there wasn't a whole lot written 10 years ago. I was studying as much as I could. I started looking for online training courses. I just wanted to immerse myself in this life. And I started to feel these subtle shifts in me. And then I decided to go to Ayurveda school. So I went and I really dove in deep, studied, learned everything that I could, started seeing clients, started helping other women to develop this peace in their lives. And with the Ayurveda and the yoga working together, my entire life changed. I realized that Ayurveda affects everything. It affects how I eat. It affects how I sleep, how I engage with my husband, how I interact in relationships with my kids, with my family, with my siblings, with my parents, with people around me. I truly see them for who they are, for the divinity and the spirit inside them. It affects how I exercise, how I practice yoga, how I see my body, how I understand my relationship to God, to spirit, to higher source. It has literally changed every single aspect of who I am. And what's interesting is I don't even see it, I just feel it. Everyone around me sees it, and they're commenting constantly about how I just seem so different, how that intensity and kind of that competitiveness and some of those really strong impulses that I had to just be the best and always be pushing and never satisfied are so gone. And I'm able to just be content and peaceful and happy. And I am so comfortable in my own skin. And as a fun side note, when I finally stopped focusing on some of those worldly outside things, All those images that I had with my figure just left, because guess what? The weight just came off. When I started loving who I was, my body responded, my cells responded. They knew that now I knew who I was, and they could live up to that expectation, and they let me live in intention. I no longer live in a world where I have rules for people. I just let everybody be who they are. I don't even have rules for myself, because I know that when I follow my highest self, that I am being who the higher power decided that I needed to be, and I am following that, and I have inspiration all around me that guides me every day. Ayurveda and yoga work so well together, and as I created the Ayurveda Life School, it was because I wanted to bring this to other women. I didn't want you to have to flounder for years feeling that despair, that low of lows, of feeling like you're never going to measure up and you're always going to be one step behind, and that everybody else has it together except for you. Here's the big clue. Most of us don't have a clue. We're all figuring it out. But as I found Ayurveda, I realized, wow, this is the answer. Ayurveda has given me everything that I always wanted, and it has helped me to change my entire life in a revolutionary way. And through the Ayurveda Life School, you can change yours too.